Hello, good viber. How are you doing? It's your girl Esther Joy coming at you with another video. On this channel, we like to talk about love, light, joy, and peace. And today, I wanted to start off by sharing a verse in Proverbs 4. The issues of life come from the heart. So keep an eye on your heart. This is not, I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit, but I found it really interesting how so many problems can stem from your heart space. It is the center. And a lot of these problems are stemming from where you are connecting yourself. Your belief systems are connected to this energy that really isn't seen or perceived in the physical, but it is received by your mind, and it creates the physical situation that you find yourself in, aka the issues that can stem. Now, Proverbs 4 is a really beautiful verse, and I was reading it this morning, and I definitely encourage you to read it. My mom was sharing it with me, and it made me very thankful for the essence of spiritual gardening, the idea that you can cultivate your being to manifest anything it is that your heart desires by showing understanding. Now, there's another verse in Proverbs 4 that talks about being slow to speak and quick to hear. And this will help with understanding. They also talk a lot about wisdom and how valuable wisdom is. So get wisdom, and with all you're getting, get understanding, because these are also really, really valuable things that are not tangible. And in a world where we seem to be getting sucked up into the 3D more and more with each passing day, it is important to ground ourselves into the things that are unseen yet are more important, dare I say, or at least equally important as the physical matter that we see. And some could say that this is almost like antimatter. Antimatter being something that cannot be perceived technically by light, but can be perceived by gravity, because it is this heavier matter that is pushing upon the matter that we know of. And it creates, in the border in between the two of these matters clashing, it creates what we perceive with our being. And I believe that antimatter is connected with our hearts. I believe it's connected with love. Love is a really interesting thing, and I have been thinking about this a lot as well, especially with February being a month where love feels abundant, with Valentine's Day, and just the atmosphere calls for a little extra love, a little extra self-care. I pray that you can give yourself that care and that love and that, validation that may be needed at this time. But I found that really interesting and made me wonder what is love? And this is a question I've heard a couple people, I think somebody on Twitter asked this question, and I thought it was a really nice question. And there were a lot of different replies, like love is this force that we cannot see but feel with all of our being. Love is this explosion. Love is this essence of life. To me, I kind of see love as a glue on when we think about the material composition of matter. And a gluon is connected, like if you look at the atomic map, I think it's the atomic map, and you look at the tree of life, and you will see that both of them have this like middle part. In the tree of life, it's called love. It's a heart center. And it's interesting because love seems to be this almost like you could say black hole. It seems to be attracting or sucking in to it, whatever it is that it desires. Of course, love is patient, love is kind, love is long-suffering, love is selfless, love is so many things that honestly, when there is a Bible verse as well that describes love, and a lot of the words that they use to describe as love, some would say it's kind of like deterring, or like not exactly how, it's not as glamorous as we would believe it to be. It seems to be a kind of painful thing to love someone, but I think if you've loved someone to any extent and you realize that it is our existence is impermanent, it can hurt a lot. I know that I kind of feel like a heaviness in my heart when I think about the magnitude in which I love, and also the realization that all that I love will one day no longer exist, other than God, because God is eternal and God is love. So what is love? What is even this conversation? So we're going to tap back into cultivating the spirit. I found myself sitting down on this bench, and I'm kind of like waiting to talk to a mentor, and this has definitely taken like an hour, and over an hour and a half longer than I had anticipated. So a part of me is just like in my spirit, I feel frustrated, and again, exploring like what's going on with the heart. Why would that even be a thing to feel? I realize it's connected with expectations, and that's connected with belief systems, and there was this belief system and expectation that we'd be meeting at an earlier time, and the time just kept on getting pushed back, and here we are. But I made the decision, we're here now, we're sticking it through, and because of that, here we are talking about this beautiful subject of love and how it is connected to cultivating your heart, and why, in the first place, cultivating your soul, your spirit, is so important. I realized that I asked God maybe for too much. Like, God already made me, God made everything. Of course, God does everything. But I think I was relying more on God than my own being. Which is a good thing, but I was like almost crippling myself by saying, God, help me stop this bad behavior, this mindset. And there is an extent which I have acknowledged, like it, that behavior, that mindset, right? It's coming from me, and sometimes it is true that the emotions I feel are so overwhelming, I don't feel like I can control them, and so that's when God steps in. But there are times where I can control it. So why am I asking God when He gave me these hands, He gave me this body to have dominion over it? It's kind of like asking for these tiny inconveniences and not enabling myself to overcome them and strengthen that aspect that God's given me to strengthen. So I found that really interesting, and it's been something I've been meditating on for a while now. Like, how do you strengthen your soul in your heart's garden? Why does it matter how you cultivate it? I think when you cultivate it, you're really being mindful of what you're attracting in your life, and that's what it comes down to. It if my theory of love being like this giant magnet that whatever is within this heart, it attracts more of, then cultivating your heart's garden is just deciding what you want and what you don't want in your life, and attracting more of what you want and less of what you don't want. So that's kind of the conclusion I've made, I guess, for myself anyways, when it comes to love and cultivating the heart space and the soul. And I think it's good. I don't know about you, but I like it a lot. And I realized that there are parts where I was asking God to help me not do something, or to overcome something, or do something else. and I wasn't actually cultivating my heart space. I just kind of wanted to override it and be like, God, you can do everything, so can you do this for me? Like, and I realized how detrimental that can be to the heart's garden, and really taking dominion over your own emotions, and really cultivating a healthy relationship with God, where it's not like you just pray to God for whatever it is you want or are avoiding, but you're actually actively cultivating, like you're taking time to do the little things that you can control, and to really churn them. So right now, I realize that I have a high sensitivity to time. I don't like not having control of my time, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's okay. But I do find that sometimes I can get frustrated, and I end up wasting time with my own mind in unconstructive ways. And so that's one thing I've been kind of meditating on. How do I give myself a proper, how do I cultivate that mindset of, oh man, I feel like I'm wasting time, and therefore this thought is kind of a waste of time as well, and jumping down that rabbit hole. How do I pull that weed out of wasted time and cultivate a spirit of patience, of gratitude, of resilience, and create spontaneous creativity when I'm given the opportunity of random pockets of time I wasn't expecting, in spaces I wasn't expecting to be in. I knew I wanted to make this video and talk about spiritual cultivation, and I knew I wanted to talk more about being slow to speak and quick to listen. We're going to touch upon that now. It's kind of ironic because I'm speaking quite a lot, and I'll do my best throughout this month to practice talking less, being more intentional with my words, and listening more. I realize how awkward it is sometimes, this whole process. And I'm doing my best also this month to give myself grace and to practice self-love, and also this weird idea of going on a date in my mind, like just taking time to think about somewhere nice in my mind, and like, let's do it together, let's go on a date in our mind. And I'm just picking a little picnic, and the bees are harmless. They do not find us threatening at all. In fact, they're offering us honey, and it's dripping from the hive down into our loaves of bread that we have positioned perfectly below the hive. And we are sitting, and our fingers may be sticky from eating this honey bread with a little butter, and we're just having nice, beautiful, clear, crisp lemonade and water. Oh, it's wonderful. We're talking about something that feels really good and intentional, and our toes are feeling the grass, and it's a perfect day. And yeah, I think overall it's kind of like a mental date. And my thought with this idea of going on a mental date is that it's actually helping cultivate the heart, because I'm cultivating my mind into what sensations, if I could take myself on a solo date or go on a date with you, with my friends, whoever, what would we do? How would that feel? And tapping into those sensations and cultivating them by bringing them up and, summoning them so that they can be felt. So that's been something I've been playing with and doing a little bit more often, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have this. And on our date, I see so many different flowers. We have daisies, we have daffodils, we have dandelions, we have tulips. Oh my goodness, there's even some wildflowers like bee balm, bergamot. There's some beautiful white lily of the valleys. There's some beautiful flowers that are just popping up, and we're just picking them. Even clovers, the biggest clovers you've ever seen, and we're making daisy chains and crowns with flowers. And They smell so good. Oh. And of course we have a beautiful fruit salad with all of the yummy fruits, and yes, that's it. That's our date. And so in this sense of cultivating the spirit and taking time to be slow to speak and quick to listen, I realize that a lot of the times when someone is talking, sometimes all I hear are my own thoughts rattling off of theirs. And a part of being slow to speak, I think for me, this challenge for the month is going to be to mentally settle down my own internal dialogue so that other people can be heard, and I'm actually listening to them. I'm not just hearing them, I'm actually listening. So listen. I don't think it's going to be perfect the first time. And in fact, I had a meeting earlier today and I definitely feel like I butchered it, but I wanted to try to actively listen and ask questions based off of what they shared, and I think I kind of failed. I don't think the questions were really aligned with what they were saying, so that's on me, but that's a good thing to at least acknowledge and reflect back on for next time. So being slow to speak, I think this is going to be really, when it comes down to gossip, it's going to be a big thing, people are going to say something. You might have tea on someone that did some real sus, and you might want to say it. You might want to spill the beans, but, be slow to speak. Maybe it's not actually appropriate to say it. And I know for myself, I was talking to my brothers, and I was kind of talking about we all have we're all on the spectrum. We all have a touch of the tism. And I was asking them what kind of touch of the tism do I have? And they were like, you have no filter. And I was like, oh, okay. And there's another verse in the Bible that says, it isn't what is within a man that corrupts them, it's what comes out of the mouth that is what corrupts them. So it's fine if you have bad, nasty thoughts, okay? But as soon as you say them out loud, that's not fine, okay? Because then you're not So that one's really sticking with me, and it's really making me evaluate how much am I sharing with people, and can I calm down on that aspect? Do they need to know everything about my life? Do I need to disturb them with the information that I'm spewing out of my mouth? No, I do not. So that's been another thing that has been interesting, just exploring the exercise of self-discipline when it comes to censorship. I think I'm a very anti-censor, say everything, free the nipple, free the mouth, free the eyeballs, everything, east, north, west, south, let's go. And that's cool, but I think I honestly we needed to calm down. We needed to now I'm realizing have a filter. A filter is a good thing. We have water filters. They help a lot. And so if this stream of consciousness that is going through me, which I understand, I am quite open to the stream of consciousness at this time. Quite open to it. I don't need to tell everybody everything that I'm receiving from the stream of consciousness. In fact, it might be beneficial to say less. And I know this from leadership and public speaking, the less you say, actually, the more sticks. The more you say, the less sticks, because it's just too much. And so, yes. I'm gonna do my best this month to monitor my words so that they are also cultivated. And whatever is coming out of my mouth is truly intentional and healing for those who hear it. I'm gonna do my best to listen, because that is the only way to actually say things that are resonant with those that are speaking and open to receiving. So, in come the floodgates. It's time to listen. I'm excited to see what happens, what I hear and understand from this challenge this month. Last month, I challenged myself to ask questions, and that was really cool. There was a lot of insight that bubbled up from asking questions, I think, with people in any kind of conversation, but especially with myself. Through journaling and through asking questions, I got more comfy with not always having the answer and being in a state of like just listening. So that was really nice. Yeah, but overall, we're gonna be slow to speak, quick to listen. I'm excited to see what comes through. I pray that you join me on this challenge and let me know where your filter is at when it comes to the stream of consciousness, if you have one or not, how you feel about that. And I'm all ears. I'm here to listen, and perhaps this is the month that I reply to every single comment that I may have seen but did not actually listen to or reply to. We will see. Again, I think really slow to speak is going to help me a lot when it comes to making promises with people of what I can and can't do. And I already feel like I'm saying yes to everything, and it's fine. Just observe and understand that filters help. Listening helps. And I hope that as we continue to cultivate the heart space this year, that we gain a closer relationship with God. That we're able to understand the gifts that God has given us on earth to use, and we are able to utilize them to their maximum potential. Amen. Okay. Yeah, we got gifts. We got it going. And with that being said, thank you for listening to me and taking time to just meditate and cultivate the heart space together. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. God bless. Namaste.